TV, working out, chocolate, whatever it is, we all have addictive personalities. And writing is not immune. In this episode, 54th episode of Horrible Writing. Hey, everybody. Paul Sading, your host of Horrible Writing. And it's time to talk about addiction, right? Probably should have done it a while ago, but I think we've hinted at it along the way. So I actually want to focus on it because I think and I feel that it's on it. As with anything, life is about balance, and writing is no different. Writing can be addicting. It's incredibly addicting to create your own stories, your own worlds. You fall in love with the worlds and the characters that you create. So it plays into those cognitive processes, and it's pretty much common sense. Any of us who've done it for even the shortest amount of time know what that feeling is and that high, right? We chase the high, but it can be problematic. So I want to talk about that because it has been, myself included, and especially for those of you who are new to writing or you just happen to catch a groove and you don't get out of that groove. And months later, half a year later, you realize, God, I've created some problems for myself. I want to help you avoid that if at all possible. So let's talk about that. Professional, personal obligations being ignored. We don't mean to, but for me, myself, there came a point where I realized that I was putting aside things I really seriously needed to get done in order to do more writing. You know, you all know the story. I put off writing for so long that once I fully dedicated myself to it, I went all in, as I do with a lot of things in life, that addictive personality again. And this was no different. And it was manageable, and I was doing it in the mornings before everybody was awake and doing their thing, and everything was good. Then I would sneak in a few minutes here and there during the day, during lunches, maybe outline something at night, sitting out even in the living room, enjoying being around the family, but still not giving them fullest dedication and attention because I was busy thinking about this story that I was working on. So you get into those moments, and the next thing you realize, you're rationalizing why you're doing what you're doing. You make it okay in your head. We do that. It's a defense mechanism. We're dealing with something we don't like, we don't want to address, we don't want to recognize. So the defense mechanisms kick in, and makes it easier for us to deal with those feelings of guilt because we're neglecting the things we need to address. It also, we know we create almost in a vacuum. When we're writing, I don't know too many people who actually are productive when they write in a group. I know people have done it. I've done it for social reasons, but not for writing reasons. Right. I've sat down around other writers in a particular setting, but it wasn't productive time. I don't like it. If I'm going to write, I'm going to write. And we do it in a vacuum. Most of us do. Those of us who are serious about doing it and aren't in it to socialize, but to create. So that lends itself to further isolation if we can't deny that pull, that attraction to writing. But what about focus? If you're writing and you are driven, you are focused, you have this thing that you want to accomplish, and you understand that in goal setting, you have to set timelines, right? It has to be defined by time. You need to know, you have to have set a suspense date, a date when this thing has to be done. That's all well and to a degree healthy focus. But when you don't manage that addiction to creation, you start losing the focus because it starts being partitioned off into different projects. I am guilty of it myself until recently, and actually still recently, managing as much as 4 or 5 projects at a time while a full-time employee. I've got a real job that has to actually pay for all this stuff and, a family person. It isn't manageable, not over the long term, and it creates that imbalance that I was talking about and where you neglect things. You even neglect things like opportunities. For example, I have over on my other monitor here, I have courses, tabs, internet tabs open for webinars that I've watched portions of that I need to finish before they're taken down. I have a course to help me understand Amazon ads and how to build effective ads. I've I paid over $600 for this course probably 3 or 4 months ago now, and I'm through the second module. That's it. Because we all only have so much time to invest in this creative venture, and to spend that kind of money, I mean, that's a 2 book covers. That's almost a full edit on a novel, uh, that I spent for this course, and I'm not taking it because I simply don't have the time to take it, and it's because I've tackled too many things, and I got too addicted to the creative element of writing. So, we need to change. We need to be healthy creators, or we're not going to create for the long term. But the thing is, as with any behavior, this doesn't change overnight. Don't expect it to. If you are identifying with this and you find yourself in that position, uh, elementary behavior modification tells us that it takes us as long to unlearn a behavior as it took us to learn it. So if you've been writing addictively, you've got that imbalance and you realize it's time to change this, but you've been doing that for 2 years, it's going to take you 2 years of dedicated effort to completely unlearn that unhealthy behavior. You'll make progress, you'll get better, but it will take time to correct it. So give yourself that. You know, just as the addiction itself didn't happen overnight, you did something, there was a void, or maybe you got some reaction, maybe you got some positive comments and feedback, and that bled over into giving up one more thing just to chase that high, to get that feeling, to get another comment like that from somebody. Along the way, you didn't recognize those things that enabled and facilitated this addiction. So to undo it, you need to be exceptionally dogged in identifying those warning signs, those things telling you, mm-mm-mm, you're slipping back. Okay, so what are they? You know, what are those things that when you, in those moments, when you recognized, man, yikes, I've got to stop working on this thing because I've got 2 starving kids and no dinner made, or I'm running late to this thing that I promised somebody I would be at, but I'm at the computer, hands on the keyboard when I recognize that. What is going through your head at those moments? What does it take? What is the antecedent to recognition that, oh, shoot, I've done it again? Before the guilt comes, before you rush to go finish dinner, to go to that thing that you promised somebody you were going to get to, what awareness, what thought pops into your brain and identify those things and figure out what you can do to help yourself. At this point, I want to pause on the topic to talk about an update. So, many of you know, if you're on the Facebook group, thank you for joining. More of you come over, please. It's growing every day and it's robust. Go to Facebook in the search feature, type horrible writing writer support group. You'll find us there. And as long as you're not a spammy writer who wants to buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, we'll let you in. We'll let you hang out. Make sure you join us there or on the author pulsating Facebook page as well. Follow this show on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at pulsating. And then you can find out more information about my upcoming work, whether it be this show, audio dramas, or even my novels. You could do that by going to pulsating.com and signing up for the newsletter as well. Newsletter subscribers got a deal on my new book, 12 Deaths of Christmas, which is coming out on Thanksgiving. So those folks got a steal on that. Not a steal, but a nice deal on it. They also got a limited time offer on Who Killed Julie, which is still active. So if you are a newsletter subscriber, make sure you go look for that. If you're a patron, you got over 50% off on the entire Who Killed Julie series. So you got it for an absolute steal, but that's because of what you do for me and my little way of thanking you. Besides 12 Deaths of Christmas, my horror anthology coming out on Thanksgiving, I'm almost done with the edits for Novel Idea to Podcast, How to Sell More Books Through Podcasting. And I'm very pleased with it. There's just a few little things I have to tweak. I also have to work on the audiobook, which after this weekend, I've got some things going on in my personal life that are keeping me very busy. But after that, I'm going to have a lot of time to work on that audiobook. So if you're interested in how podcasting might help you, regardless of what you write, how it can help you sell more books, make sure that you're tuning into the show, that you're signed up for the newsletter, that you're following the Author Pulsating Facebook page or me on Twitter, or you join the Horrible Writing Writer Support Group on Facebook, and you'll get that information on the book when it's ready to come out. It's full of not just me. I went to a bunch of experts as well in podcasting to kind of help give you those tips, tools, tactics that you need to understand how to do it. This stuff isn't that scary, folks. You can do it. So make sure you're looking for that. Now, let's wrap this discussion up by talking about some tips. How you can avoid this because you want to remain balanced and healthy. You want to fulfill those obligations, personal and professional, so that you are happy. A happier writer creates great stuff. Yeah, sure. Those jaded, defeated by life writers also do well in some genres, but we want you around for the long haul. So you've got to be healthy. So first, like I said before we took that little break, make sure that you're looking for those warning signs. Make sure you recognize them. Journal that. Carry a little notebook around with you to make sure that you don't miss them. But make sure that that is the first thing you do. Those things that are telling you that you didn't do what you wanted to do. Second, be your own accountability buddy. Cute little wordplay, right? Be accountable. Accountable to your profession, accountable to your family, those you need to take care of, those you need to be there for, but accountable to yourself as well. Set a schedule. Be disciplined. Get out of bed early. Start your day earlier. Okay. The data is out there. Go research successful people, CEOs, billionaires, innovators. They don't start their day at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's just a fact. Successful people don't. Don't say I'm not a morning person. Nobody is. It's about discipline. It's about setting that alarm and actually getting up. So putting the phone or the alarm 20 feet away on the far end of your bedroom and forcing yourself to have to get out of bed to shut it off. You've got that time to cross the threshold to get to the phone, that time you're shutting off the phone or alarm, and all the way back to your bed to remind yourself why you're getting up. So you've got to have that discipline. Set a schedule and stick to it. That's so important. Set a timer. I'm going to write for 20 minutes. We all can find 20 minutes if we're disciplined, if we're dedicated. We have that desire. We can find the 20 minutes. Yes, we have to make sacrifices. Oh well, do you want to do this or not? It's that simple. It is that simple. The rationalizing voice is coming in. No, it's not. You don't know my story. Yeah, I get it. We all do. It's about discipline, dedication, desire. Get that little egg timer, set it near your computer and start building that behavior. Like we talked about all the way, I don't even remember anymore. Episode 3. But you can do this. It takes time. Give yourself that allowance that it takes time. Be faithful. You can't be your best if you don't have balance in your life. Your everything will suffer if your life is out of balance. So even with this, that dedication, that drive, that desire makes you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning to write before everybody else gets up. There still has to be balance. The other day, I write in the morning, 4:58 club, right? I write in the morning, and you all know that every morning I do this. My goal that I've achieved ever since I set it back in early 2018 was zero word count days. Never have a 0 word count day, even if it's only 100 words. And the other day, uh, I write in the morning before our day starts, but it was our daughter's birthday. And I made sure that I got up and started my writing as early as possible because by the time my wife got up, only a few short minutes later, 15, 20 minutes later, we had to start decorating. We had this family thing where we love to just destroy our house by putting balloons and decorations and streamer everywhere to celebrate, you know, the anniversary of someone's birth who is special to us. So that took an hour and a half. So basically I only got 20 minutes of writing time in, but my goal is practical, it's realistic, it's achievable, it's defined. 0 word count days. 20 minutes, I got about 300 words of work done by the time I woke up and actually got to work. Um, but it didn't regret that taking an hour and a half away because it was something important. It's about having that balance. Treat your art with the respect it deserves. The addiction, the drive is great. But if you're addicted to the process, not necessarily writing, but maybe releasing things, maybe the sales data, you check it 22 times a day. Um, be cognizant of what your goal and ambition is and how it affects your life. Are you cheating your best creation because of your inability to manage your addiction to to the process, to the writing, to the creation, whatever it is? If we aren't our best, we can't give our best and our art suffers. And that's what's going to outlast everything else, right? It will outlast you, literally. So make sure that you're doing that. Keep that big picture in mind. Take care of yourself. We need you around. If you're listening to this show, I have to believe that you're a good human. Our interviews don't focus on the craft for a reason. I want to get to know the writers and the writing community. I want to get to know them as people. I want to know their struggles. their inspirations, their drive, the thing that keeps them creating when they faced whatever it is that they faced. And that has appealed to you, or you wouldn't be here. You would go listen to the 400 other writing podcasts that talk about craft. So it's with that sentiment and with that thought that I will leave you. You're a good human. You're a great human. You deserve to give yourself the best chance you can at what you're doing. Poetry, memoirs, fiction, nonfiction, what audio drama, whatever it is. But you got to take care of yourself. Watch for those warning signs. Set the schedule. Get up early. Set a timer for your writing. When that timer goes off, boom. At night, if it's family time, I don't care what is going on social media. Schedule your tweets earlier to promote the book so that way at 8 o'clock at night, your family isn't waiting for you to finish that promotional ad for your release because you already scheduled it. Give that time, structure that time, stay true to it. And remember, it will take you as long to unlearn something as it took you to learn it. So give yourself that chance. Give yourself that room, that allowance to return to that balanced creation, that balanced lifestyle. Until we talk again in episode 55, I want to wish you happy creating and remember, keep being epic.